Hello everybody and welcome to the Homestead's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Today's a pretty big day for me. I just had my first package arrive for our perennial stock that will be going into the ground this year. So here we have a box of 20 plants that just arrived yesterday. It was a pretty rainy day yesterday, so I just focused on some yard work, and today at +8 and a lot of sun, seems like the perfect day to get these into the ground. So first of all, before I get into the actual planting and the recommendations that go along with planting the blueberries, which we're going to focus on today, I just want to talk about some of the health benefits and the vitamins and minerals that can be found in blueberries, which, if you can tell by the sound of my voice, I've caught a little bacterial infection there in my nasal cavity, and I'm a bit off, so the sooner these things are growing and producing berries for me, the better. Anyways, so blueberries contain very high doses of vitamin C, K, B6, folate, potassium, copper, and manganese. So these things are all in abundance. Some of the vitamins and minerals that you can find in blueberries, the fruit. There's iron, zinc, phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium in lower amounts, but it's just a huge amount of vitamins and minerals in such a small little berry. It's considered a superfood, and that's due to very high levels of antioxidants and some of the health benefits that go along with these vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. It's numerous. It's actually quite amazing how many diseases blueberries can stave off. So I just have a quick list here. Some of the health benefits are anti-aging, cancer prevention, and prevention of cellular structure damage. That's the antioxidants that are going to be doing that kind of stuff for you. Blueberries can actually strengthen cardiac muscles, so that's going to reduce your risks of heart attacks and different things like that. Anything cardiac related, really, a stronger muscle, it's always working, so it's pretty integral to try to keep those muscles strong and healthy, and blueberries can help you with that. It's going to lower blood pressure. Blueberries lower blood pressure, and they're going to dissolve LDL cholesterol, which is the bad type of cholesterol. Blueberries can lower blood sugar by increasing insulin sensitivity, which is pretty amazing. It's a fact I didn't know and I learned today. They'll improve brain function. They can reduce inflammation. They can help treat UTIs, which I'm not going to recommend you just go on a blueberry diet if you wind up with a urinary tract infection, but maybe help prevent some of those things from happening. It actually helps with vision and boosts immunity in general. So pretty amazing plants, and if you're going to invest the money in buying some of these, they're notoriously hard to make cuttings and propagate from cuttings. So I just decided that I was going to purchase some instead of trying to go to a retailer and buy a couple plants and try to propagate them that way. These are 2-year-old plants, and I thought the price was pretty fair. And there was that Vases, which is, you can see on the packages, where I got these plants from. They had a $100 discount that you could use at checkout, so saved me a little bit of money there. And another great thing about blueberries is that they can last for up to 50 years. So anyways, those are just some of the benefits and some of the things that are going to help you if you put some of these things in the ground. So now I'm going to get on to the planting component. I bought some of this sphagnum peat moss, which is recommended for blueberries, this specific type. There's another granular type of peat moss that's supposed to be very helpful too, but this stuff was on sale, so I grabbed this. And you can see here, they're coming alive and were shipped, and they're in bags and they're sealed to retain the moisture in there and keep them alive. So putting them on a black surface like this is not really a great idea, but I wanted to get everything out and show you real quickly. So we have some Northland blueberries. There's 4 of these, 4 Chippewa blueberry plants and 4 Polaris blueberry plants. So with I believe with all species of fruit, if you want to have a good fruit set, you're going to want to have multiple different species living in close proximity to each other. Anyways, that's all I have for this part right now, the introduction. So I'm going to pause the video and we're going to get over there and start planting. So I just thought I'd show you what kind of spring we've been dealing with here in Ontario. In the last couple of days, the last 3 days, we've basically had double digits in Celsius. So it's warmed up quite a bit, but we had a very warm January, and February was more like March, and March was more like February normally is, and then April's been very erratic. Last year at this time, I had already been working outside for a month, transplanting a bunch of raspberries and different things, but the sun rises over here in the east, so that's over there in the west, and we still have a considerable amount of snow in the yard, and obviously off in the bush line where it's shaded and cooler, there's still a significant amount of snow. But 3-4 days ago there was still over a foot of snow here, so I just thought I'd show that to everybody so that they could see what kind of stuff. Even though we're in zone 5, that's a minimum temperature gauge. I think it's around minus 30 or something like that as your average. Maybe it's minus 27 Celsius. I'm not quite sure what that is in Fahrenheit. But even though, you know, you can see other people in zone 5 have had no snow for a month, up here in Ontario, kind of central Ontario, zone 5, well, a good minimum for freezing, like temperature wise. We still have some late blasts, and we're actually expecting a little more snow. Not that it'll stick to the ground or anything, but over the next couple days we might have some snow, which is another thing you might want to consider when planting your blueberries. They're not going to have great root formation if there's hard frost. Even though these are hardy varieties and they're good to about zone 3, I always like to plant at least a zone lower than what ours is, because you know 1 year you're gonna have a real cold snap. But anyways, yeah, it's been a bizarre spring. But yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say. The raspberries or the blueberries, they don't want hard frost when they're first being set in the ground. So what I'm going to do, if I have any real threats, our last frost date usually for me is May 2-4 weekend here in Canada. End of May is when I start to put the annual vegetables in the ground that I'm worried that can't handle any real frost, extended frost periods. A hard frost is more than 4 hours below zero. So a lot of plants can handle a light frost, but we're definitely not out of the woods yet for frost. We still have about a month. But anyway, summing that up, I thought I'd show you what I did today. So blueberries are, you know, it's a fruit, so you're going to want to give it lots of sun. I don't know if how many of you have been following along with us, but and I'm not sure if you'd remember, even if you have been, but over on this side of the pond here, there was quite a few trees, poplar trees, which is a messy tree that I'm not a big fan of anyways, and I wanted to clear a spot. I have some apricot trees coming in about a month, and I thought that this slope over here was a great spot that was fully shaded, that we could use to just increase our productivity on the lot. So this morning I got up at a decent time after watching my Maple Leafs lose to Boston last night and get put out of the playoffs. A little bit of a hockey hangover today, but eventually got to work. So I cut down 2 poplar trees there, a twin, one there, a larger one there, and one there in the back, and they were shading this whole area. Blueberries like high and dry, and my yard is very wet, but this is about as dry as it gets over here. They're gonna have full sun, and I think that the soil is in great shape to receive any type of plant. The cherries and the cranberries that you can see over here, you just make out the mounds. They did exceedingly well last year. They grew quite a bit, and I'm hoping for an actual fruit set this year. We had some cranberries first year, so this side's a little more wet than this side, but anyways, yeah, this is the lay of the land, and this is where our stuff is gonna go. Okay, so blueberries The recommendation is a 20-inch wide hole, 20 inches deep. I think that's a bit overkill, personally. From what I've read about the root structure, they're mostly surface roots. They're going to send some roots down a little deeper. Excuse me, I'm out of breath, I'm sick. But yeah, the majority of their roots are going to grow along the surface, anchoring them down at a nice wide base. And you're going to want to space them out depending on the type of soil you have. If your soil is not very good, 4 feet is probably good. If you have good organic content in your soil like we do here, I'm spacing them out about 5 feet, 5 or 6 feet. I expect them to grow 4 or 5 feet high and 4 or 5 feet wide. So this is a great spot. You want to dig the soil, loosen it up well. This earth is really great. I'm sure you can see, just very dark. And what I did was, I went along, and I know these sticks here, I'm not sure if you can see them. I marked where I'm going to be putting some trees in, and I know roughly where the other two are going over there. They're not going to affect this spot, but they're going to grow taller than the bushes. The sun comes down, beats down this way. So basically what I did was I went along, took a full stride, kicked the ground. I'm about 6 feet tall, so a full stride is 4 feet, 4.5, 5 feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down here, 5, and along we go. So this soil, break it up. I bought gloves. Just put my gloves on. Always holes in my hands. Got some gloves. Okay, so this is probably only about 12 inches, 14 inches wide. Maybe I'll widen it up a little more. I'm gonna have lots of roots here to deal with, as there's poplar trees around here, like I mentioned earlier, and they send up runners everywhere. So there's gonna be lots of surface roots. But in any case, that's good enough. We've loosened up the soil, giving the roots the ability to spread quickly. Now, as I said, they grow closer to the surface, so I'm not going to leave the hole very deep. I'm going to fill it up halfway again with the soil there. I'm going to take my peat moss. I have 4 bags, so 1/3 of a bag per plant. I'll do it. So that's pretty close to the surface, so the plant will be able to make use of that. Add back some of our soil, mix it together well. Okay. Now these are all a high growing variety. So if I had some that were shorter, I would tier them so that the tallest ones were in the back and down the slope. Because it's a little bit of an incline, it wouldn't be as important, but these all grow to the same height, so I'm not going to worry too much. Now, these have been grown in pots. They're square. It's not a problem. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not a problem. So what I want to do, pot-bound plants are not your friend. Generally, they do poorer than, can't think of the name right now, but when you get plants and the roots are bare root. So when you get plants that are bare root, That's really, you know, where you want it. So I can see this plant is arcing back this way. Like I said, the sun comes across this way, so it's going to grow up. You want to put them in about 2 inches deeper than what they were grown at the facility, the grow house that you got them from. You want them to be about 2 inches deeper. So give it a good push. There it is, in the ground. So because I have 3 different varieties, I'm going to plant them in an alternating pattern. This was the Northland, so maybe next I'll do a Chippewa beside it, and then the 3rd variety beside that, and then I'll take the 3rd variety, I'll put that there, this one in the middle, and I'll just keep crisscrossing the... Hey guys, sorry about that. I had a phone call there and the video was interrupted. But basically what I was saying was I'm going to take the 3 different species and I'm going to alternate them. You can see this guy's in the ground, so that's good. It's facing the right direction, and you know, try not to have the branches overlapping each other and blocking each other's sun out, so that it can grow faster and develop its roots quicker and just be a more productive plant. As you can see, here's where the second one will go in the ground, and I have a stick there that's denoting that an apricot tree will be going there, and one over here, and then we'll probably put one in just 3 feet back from that stump, and another one, you can see the last cherry tree here, so just down over here, give everybody lots of space to grow. And the last thing I wanted to mention was even though it's not proven, science says that pine needles and evergreen needles and seed shells and husks and stuff like that, they don't, they're not gonna change the pH level at all, actually. So they say, I find it hard to believe that it won't change it at all, considering it's an organic matter that's breaking down, and I don't know, it has to have some effect. I mean, cause and effect, it's a organic material. Anyways, so my friendly chipmunks and squirrels have done a great job of creating a ton of mulch for me, seed husks from spruce and pine trees, and I have a wheelbarrow full here that I gathered before starting to shoot the video. So I'm going to apply that 2 or 3 inches deep, 3 inches probably around the base of each plant, and that will stop some of the competition, and in my mind will feed the plant some organic material that should help it along over the years as it breaks down. But yeah, that's really it for today. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and I know I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately. We've been under the weather and dealing with rain and snow and stuff, the typical Canadian forecast. But we're back into it now. So if you like what you saw, you could subscribe and follow along on our journey, and any likes and shares are always greatly appreciated. It gets the videos out to more people, and really what we're trying to do here is educate people as much as we can and learn some things ourselves to you know, just improve the lives of anybody who comes into contact with this stuff. So thanks again, have a great day, and take care.